is Rachel Ibarra. She is our bachelor's student awardee, I guess. She's here. Her hometown is Constantine, Michigan. She's here with her family and her boyfriend and the little ones, right? So they all look like they're having fun. Rachel is doing her field placement at Lighthouse Academy, working with at-risk young people. She is also accepted at a few master's advanced standing programs, so we're proud of her and excited, and we hope she stays with us, but we're okay if she goes somewhere else too. She would like to work to sort of look at and approach oppression and oppression work, policy change, advocacy, but she's got a lot of discovering to do. We were talking about sort of things she's proud of. She has been a leader in the School of Social Work, but also at the university at large at Grand Valley. So she's on the Student Senate for Grand Valley State, that's university-wide, and she chairs the diversity subcommittee. So again, doing that diversity work out in the university. So we're proud of her. We're excited to welcome Rachel Ibarra, the BSW awardee.
I felt it would only be in my fashion to not prepare anything. I did prepare something, but printing was not accessible for me. So we'll just go with it, and many people at Grand Valley know this is what I usually do when I public speak. I apologize. But yeah, so to start, thank you for having me. Thank you for all being here. I'll speak pretty briefly about my time at Grand Valley. One of the most memorable parts of my time at Grand Valley has been being a part of our Student Senate. I apologize, my voice is shaky. My heart rate's probably 140 right now.
Doing great.
Thank you, Scott. So Scott mentioned I want to look at oppression. I do chair our Diversity Affairs Committee. I know what people think when they hear student government. I also felt this way. I'm not interested necessarily in politics. I'm not pre-law. I'm pretty confident that they were not really sure what I was doing on the student government. But I started to raise questions that I thought were important. The importance of human relationships, the relationships we build with students, the relationships students have with faculty, and how faculty engage with students, especially students of color. And that was really difficult. I've been comfortable being uncomfortable in almost every situation I've been in, because I'm often the only student in the room with all of the faculty members at Grand Valley, including our president, Thomas Haas, he's amazing, but it is intimidating to look at your university president and ask them questions about retention rates of students of color and how we can combat that. A couple of things that I think will make a lasting impact and that have really stood out to me throughout my time at Grand Valley is the importance of asking difficult questions and framing them in a way that make them seem not as difficult as they really are. So an example of this is I put together a resolution with a couple of my peers to urge our Board of Trustees to only sign contracts with people that do not discriminate against LGBT individuals. So anytime we build a new building and we want to sign contracts to construction companies, they would have to sign a paper saying they do not discriminate against their LGBT workers. This is a big ask, especially to the Board of Trustees. And I like to say that I did this with my peers. I think that's a very important part of advocacy. One voice by itself might not make a change, but when you've got many people in the picture, it can be hard to silence them. And I think that's often overlooked, especially in social work. I'm trying to think of other things. It's very odd to talk about your accomplishments. I've realized throughout social work, we all hate to do this. When I got the email that I won this award, I was like, this is odd, but I'll accept it very gladly. And I reached out to a couple of people in the School of Social Work, and I was like, can you believe I won this award? And they were like, yes, I can. And so I did a lot of self-reflection of how I've grown since my time at Grand Valley. I am a first-generation student. I work about 40 hours a week at your local Applebee's in Standale. So I think I bring a very unique perspective to class discussions and to the university as a whole. So imagine me sitting on a faculty committee starting to ask questions about why do we do things this way at our university? And you're often going to be met with, I've learned at least, it's always been done this way. And I'm not content with those answers. So you start to think about how you can change systemic issues, and I think it starts within our own communities and how we can create change by educating our peers. I really need to eat before I public speak, I apologize. But I think it all starts with education, and so I'll leave on this. I had the honor of hosting a book club for our Student Senate. We are notorious for a lack of diversity in our Student Senate. As the chair of Diversity Affairs, I can say that very publicly. And so I think we should raise issues of a lack of awareness with education instead of shaming people that they're not aware. So I hosted this book club there was a book called We Gonna Be Alright by Jeff Chang. He raises a lot of hot takes in that book, educating people about redlining, just a ton of issues that people tend to not talk about, and so maybe this was a bit extreme for people that really have no introduction with diversity at all. But I really enjoyed this time, and I like to talk about this because it shows that you can educate people. You might not be able to change people's behaviors, but you can change the way that they view the world, and I think that's really important in social work. So thank you. I appreciate you listening to my rambling and my shakiness, and I am very honored to have it.
Just go down.
I'm thinking one more fun fact about Grand Valley is we have a new president, and she is a social worker, so that's very exciting for, I think, Grand Valley and our school and our community. So we know that social workers do things better than most people, right? So that's what I have to say. So our masters, our MSW recipient of the award is Yvonne Gorajec. She is actually, I know Yvonne pretty well. She's my grad assistant, and she has done lots of work for me. So again, I always give her piles of work, such as go find out all the stuff on the licensure exam, right? So we can communicate it to our faculty and students, and so I appreciate her personally. She currently, comes from Muskegon, Michigan. She's currently in field practice at Mercy Health in Muskegon in the ER department. She would love to become an emergency room social worker as she graduates from our program and goes on, and so I'm sure she'll be a wonderful one. Some of her great accomplishments that we talked about was she really did a lot of traveling while she was in the School of Social Work. She went to Ireland and learned about healthcare and social work in Ireland. She also went on our disaster relief trip to Puerto Rico, helped do some rebuilding there. So she's been a bit of a world traveler, I guess, while she's been with us. A good leader, a good friend, a good student colleague. So I can't say enough wonderful things about Yvonne, so come on up. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Berlin. So I, like Rachel, I felt like, was I really this person who was supposed to win this award? Because, I don't know, it just kind of came as a shock to me. But as I was thinking about everything that I've done in the program, I really feel like I have dedicated myself to social work for these past 5 semesters. And as an undergrad, I actually had my degree in English education. And I became a teacher, and instead of being an English teacher, I worked with at-risk youth who were pretty much at risk of dropping out, but they had so many issues with just adverse things. They literally had to be on food stamps in order to be in my program. They had to be like a runaway, or they had to have had a teen pregnancy, or just a number of things to even apply for the program. And I found myself doing more social work than actual teaching, because it was a job readiness / don't drop out kind of thing. So I was pretty much just doing the social work aspect with them, and that's what I actually enjoyed. And so I kind of let teaching go, and I had a quarter life crisis, and I was like, oh, I have this degree and I'm not using it, and I'm a failure, and all these things, and I got really down on myself. But then I realized, like, I'm young, like, I can do other things. So I applied for the MSW program at Grand Valley, and like I said, I really just dedicated myself to social work. Dr. Berlin mentioned that I've been to Ireland, and with the medical aspect, we also focus a lot on the trauma that people have been through and how it just builds their resilience. And that's one thing that I think all of us as social workers and our future clients or patients or whoever you end up working with, resilience is just such an important piece to remind people, like, you are resilient. The same thing for Puerto Rico, and working with the family on the house that we were, we demolished walls and we're painting and things, actually meeting the people who were affected by the hurricane. It was just such a humbling experience, and I would love to go back and do the same thing over again. It was just the most amazing experience. I'm also working with the University of Texas as a fellow, and we are developing trainings for community health workers. And it's been, I always thought, like, oh, I'm a micro person, I will definitely just be doing clinical work. But doing this kind of, developing these trainings and just kind of being more involved with public health kind of things, I don't know, I might go back and get another master's degree or go on and get a doctorate, I don't know. But it has definitely opened up the micro macro spectrum for me, and kind of knowing that there's more that I can do. Dr. Berlin also mentioned that I am a graduate assistant for him, and along with the licensure stuff, we have also done a lot of work on, we were up for accreditation this year, and working with him and other professors and lots of my cohort in pretty much making sure that we were accredited, because Grand Valley's great, come there for your MSW, but
Just got our letter this week. We're reaccredited for 8 years.
I really learned a lot about what it takes to make a social worker, and going through every syllabi of the BSW and MSW program. It was a long process, but I literally was like, wow, I wish I could have taken this class and all these things. And so another thing that I maybe will do in the future is become an adjunct and do more teaching. So Dr. Berlin also mentioned my internship, and I am in the emergency room at Mercy Hospital in Muskegon, and it's just so, this has definitely been an experience that has linked mental health and healthcare for me, and how they're so very important, and acknowledging as you work with anyone, health is a major thing that people go through and problems that they have, and it's important as a social worker to support them and educate other people in interdisciplinary kind of meetings and things like that, like doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, whoever they are. Definitely just teach them people skills, because a lot of times they don't have them. So as I move forward, I am just so excited to apply everything that I've learned through all of my experiences. I graduate in 29 days, not that I'm counting or anything, but I'm going to miss just my people in the MSW program, just because, like, literally on the first day I got in there and I was like, these are the people that I need to be around. I'm home, like, I'm doing it. So really I'm just excited to apply everything that I've learned and work with all of you as my colleagues in the future, and thank you very much.